30 minutes from Chicago, there's a city that has some of the dirtiest air in the nation. It's home to 3 steel mills, including the largest in the nation and one of America's largest black populations. In Gary, Indiana, residents who've been breathing in that toxic air say they feel like they've been overlooked and neglected by those who can help clean it up. And CBS News Chicago investigative reporter Tara Molina has been covering this story. She joins us now. Tara, good to see you. So what did you find in your investigation?
Yeah, good to see you. These steel plants have been an economic lifeline for this area for decades. U.S. Steel, which owns the largest facility in Gary, maintains its work is essential to the health of America's economy. And they say they have systems in place to comply with environmental regulations. But what we found, people in the fight for their lives, and medical researchers getting closer to a direct causal link between pollutants and some cancers. As the wind blows through her hometown of Gary, Beryl Fitzpatrick takes it in with a deep breath. One she no longer takes for granted.
Nobody wants to hear you have cancer.
With Beryl, you can hear her cancer as she speaks. She's been battling stage 3 tongue cancer. The air in her own backyard could be playing a role.
Good morning to you.
It's what Dr. Kirsten Stenson, who heads the head and neck cancer program at Rush Medical Center, told Beryl.
It's almost certain that her place of residence with the high pollution and other industrial output contributed to her cancer.
Pollutants you can see and tiny particulates you can't come from different types of industry in the Gary region. But of all the industry, one releases the most, EPA records show, these steel production plants. 7 major coal-powered steel production plants operate in the U.S. 3 are in this region: Burns Harbor, Gary Works, and Indiana Harbor. We analyzed Environmental Protection Agency data and found these 3 Indiana mills emitted more industrial pollution than the combined toxic releases of the 4 similar mills in other states.
There's some irony to, steel built this town, and now what we're looking at is how steel made this town sick.
I mean, that's a stark reality that a lot of folks would have to deal with.
That's Gary's mayor, Eddie Melton. He wants tougher toxic emission standards. But how likely is that to happen? In March, the federal EPA announced it's considering lowering some standards polluters have to meet.
What we're seeing from a federal and state government concerns me in terms of rolling back the regulations on industries such as the steel industry.
Both the state and U.S. EPA declined interviews, but sent statements saying they take action when facilities are out of compliance, and that's reduced air emissions. Gary already fails to meet federal air quality standards. The county has more toxic releases than 99% of all other counties across the country.
But we don't fight. We don't fight.
More than 76% of the people living in Gary are black. The average income, less than $23,000. About a 4-hour drive from Gary, there's a steel plant in Middletown, Ohio. It's getting a major portion of a $500 million federal grant to change the steelmaking process and cut hazardous pollution in that city, which has an average income of $30,000, and it's 73% white. The Ohio plant was getting federal help to change its steelmaking process and cut pollution. Beryl believes Gary's demographics play a role in the pollution not getting cleaned up.
I am worthy. No matter what you think about my black skin, and I am a person worthy of a good life.
Cleveland Cliffs, which owns 2 of the plants in Northwest Indiana, has not returned our messages. The company also owns the Ohio plant we mentioned that's supposed to get the federal funds to make cleaner steel. But now we're learning that federal money may be rescinded.
Tara, such an eye-opening report. In your conversation with the mayor, I thought it was a really astute observation that you said the steel built the town and the steel is now making the town sick. It sounds like things might get even worse. Right now, the EPA is considering to lower the standards that polluters have to meet. But communities like Gary are already facing such high pollution. What can the community do here?
I'm really glad that you pointed that out because I think that line spoke to a lot of people in Gary, and it's a community that's already rallying there. Beryl and others have formed environmental groups to advocate for cleaner air and increased regulation. I've already connected with so many of them, and their next steps are to bring their concerns and what we found through our investigation to their lawmakers and representatives. Of course, that's something we'll continue to follow as we track this story in Gary.
Tara Molina with the powerful investigative reporting. Tara, thank you for your time.
Thank you.